This is part two of Eligio Bishop Fate as well as Velvet's interview. Eligio Natureboy Bishop was found guilty of all 5 counts. He chose to participate in the trial in jail because the judge had C19. Now let's remember, he said that disease was not real and that C19 was not real, but now he does not want to compromise his health. Interesting. Now he's raising his right hand before he makes his statement before being sentenced. Be reminded, while the victims and the other witnesses read impact statements, he was for the shenanigans, making all these gestures and laughing. And his first question, as he was addressing the court and the victim, was, "Are you happy?" And then repeatedly said he still loves them and forgives them. Well, the judge said he was a narcissist and some other things and sentenced him to life without parole plus 10 years. So, in my words, I summarize it all to say, Eligio, don't worry and be happy. Outstanding. Now, let's hear the rest of Velvet's interview that I did almost 2 years ago. And her story never changed. And the other thing that I want you to be mindful of is that the entire video, which talked about DV, and there were other panelists that shared their story, you can definitely see that entire interview and video on Speaking from the Purple Couch. And I will try to link it somewhere for you to be able to review it. It's very educational, and you will be shocked.
We hope that this show will be very informative and educational. What we're going to do right now is put up a trigger warning based on the subject matter of this video. Stop. This is a trigger alert. Content warning. This video and discussion contains descriptive information about DV. So at this moment, if you need to click off, we do understand, but we just want you to be aware. Take notice, just to let you know, if there are some issues or concerns about this video or our position on the fair use defense, please contact us at 202-607-8195 so we can discuss amicably, and we thank you. Now let's go over some statistics, and then I will be introducing, we'll give you a little background on who will be participating in this video. On average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, that equates to more than 10 million women and men. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence. Intimate partner contact, actual violence, we can't say that word, and or intimate partner stalking with impacts such as injury, fearfulness, post traumatic stress disorder, use of victim services, and contraction of STDs. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. This includes a range of behaviors from slapping, shoving, pushing, and in some cases might not be considered DV. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 25 men have been injured by an intimate partner. 1 in 10 women have actually been AR'd by an intimate partner. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of severe physical violence, which could be beating, burning, strangling by an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 7 women and 1 in 18 men have been stalked by an intimate partner during their lifetime to the point in which they felt very fearful or believed that they or someone close to them would be harmed or transitioned. On a typical day, there are more than 20,000 phone calls placed to the DV hotlines nationwide. The presence of the tool used to shoot in a DV situation increases the risk of transitioning someone by 500%. Intimate partner violence accounts for 15% of all violent crimes. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. 19% of domestic violence involves DV. I need to catch myself. Strike DV involves some type of weapon. Domestic victimization is correlated with a higher rate of depression and harming oneself, and only 34% of people who are injured by intimate partners receive medical care for their injuries because a lot of them do not even report it. Panel. The first one that will share their story is a young lady. She is a mother and she has endured abuse on so many levels from her abuser. Our young lady, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay. And you?
I'm doing well. You can say my name.
Okay, great, great. I just want you to feel comfortable.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's wonderful seeing you, Velvet. Wonderful seeing you, Taurus. We have two
Thank
other
you.
people waiting for. I don't know where they are, but for right now, we just want to welcome you to the platform. And
Thank you.
we thank you for taking the time out to actually share because this is a major issue that we need to deal with. And especially now that we have been kind of like isolated for these last 2 years, kind of like quarantine, a lot more has occurred. Now, Velvet, um, I'm going to let you go first. And you are a remarkable young mother and young lady. You are, I have just seen you blossom. You have grown into this wonderful woman, and I'm so very proud of you. Now we can start by you sharing your story. I mean, how did you meet your abuser?
I'll start off by saying this because that compliment you gave me, I really appreciate that. Um, After everything was said and done, after I met my abuser, I don't want to say that he destroyed my life because he really didn't destroy it, right?
Mhm.
He
Right.
destroyed certain relationships, yeah. But I get a lot of compliments where people say, oh my gosh, I'm loving the woman you're turning into.
Mhm.
And that is like, for me personally, I laugh when I hear that in my head because when people go through DV,
Mhm.
you never really realize that they are actually good people.
Right.
They have so many great qualities about themselves. They just are never able to express that because of the abuse. And so, underneath all of the trauma was that woman that you see today.
Mm.
And if I would have never made the decision that I did because of my children, I don't
Mhm.
know where I would be in life.
Wow.
Needless to say, how I met my abuser was through Facebook.
Mhm.
My era and my generation, a lot of kids are on social media. They all have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. They all have all of these platforms. So we all, tune into that. And a big wave in this generation also is learning spirituality. But
Mhm.
see, for me personally, this is my own opinion. I feel like, especially after what I went through, people get spirituality and religion confused. So these children are practicing demonic rituals and demonic lifestyle behaviors that's hindering them from actually being able to evolve
Mhm.
spiritually, or what we would like to call it as God, under God's law.
Right.
And so, when I met the abuser on Facebook, he just was saying how we were going to evolve spiritually, how he was going to give us the information to evolve, and how we were going to live this lifestyle and change the world and have better humans and be one with nature and eat healthier and have gardens and make our own clothes and harness our own food and our own water and take care of ourselves, be in a sense of a self sustainability. And because of who I naturally am, I went to Tuskegee University, and I majored in agriculture slash horticulture. So I was
Mhm.
already into the natural way of life,
Right.
wanting to heal myself and stuff like that. So my mistake by me being so young, my abuser, he targets people who are very young minded, don't
Mhm.
have a lot of experience when it comes to the real world and being sociable and stuff. And so it never dawned on me to get to know the person, like make sure that the person is a good person, look up videos, Google them. Now
Right.
that I'm older,
Mhm.
that is an aspect, but when I was younger, I was rosy eyed, like everybody's not like seeing the benefits of everybody and seeing everybody's potential and going off that, moving, making decisions off of that. And
Right.
so, long story short, I was with my abuser for 3 years, and I actually left. I escaped actually 3 times from him. Actually, I think it was 3 times. Yeah,
Mhm.
I escaped 3 times, and I willingly went back more than 4 times, I believe, because I would like run out the house and run away, and then I would go
Mhm.
back, multiple times. But me physically escaping,
Mhm.
every story was different. He did try to like keep me hostage, and he has like other people that surrounds him, so he uses them as pawns and try to make the world believe that those people can leave at any time, and that he doesn't have any real value in his mind for some other people. So but when it came to me, he had a high value in his mind for me, like I was a commodity to him, so he targeted me. He didn't treat me how he treated the other people. He kept me hostage. He stole all my documents. He used my child against me. He did everything that he could to, keep me with him. And so, yeah, I experienced a great amount of physical abuse, emotional, spiritually, you name it, mentally, verbally. So that's how I met him initially. And then
Right.
as I met my abuser in particularly, when I met him, he actually dragged me through the entire South America continent. And he also took me to like other places within the United States too. So just imagine, and almost like being trafficked,
Mm.
you
Wow.
know. I was forced to have I don't want to say the wrong word, but physical intimate relations with people that I didn't want to, against
Mhm.
my will, even with him on multiple occasions, you know. And it was a situation where he pretended to be somebody, but then like underneath the surface he was this evil person, and it wasn't making sense to me until the time went on and I started putting two and two together, and I started noticing that in a healthy relationship you don't fight
Mhm.
like that. You don't
Right.
hit your spouse, you don't do that. So yeah, I just made a decision to take myself out of it completely. And the last time I escaped was in last November 2021, and I planned my escape for 3 months. And
Okay. And
Mm.
so,
now, can you tell us what was that instance of abuse that really shook you up to say, I must leave?
mm, mm. So it actually was a series of events that took place. So During my my last escape during the 3 months, I had to. It was so much physical abuse that I had to do exactly what he wanted me to do in order to steal my passports because we were in another country and I couldn't just leave and I would be stranded. So I had to play him at his own game. So I had to manipulate him. Craziest situation ever I've ever been in my entire life. I had to manipulate him in order to escape. And so I basically just did everything he wanted me to do. I even did things that was outside of my character to be able to
Mm,
get my passport and for me and my child. So we he basically drugged me from, I believe that was Las Vegas, to back to Mexico in Central America, and he it was forcing me to be in relationship with other women. He considers himself to be polygamous, so he forced me to be in relationships with women that I didn't want to be with, and he just kept telling me that he'll kill me and he'll throw me in the woods and he'll just tell social media that I ran away and no one knows what happened to me and I just left the baby. And he
mm,
was also threatening other women in his little camp or whatever. He was threatening them too to kill them and just throw their bodies away and let social media know. And he was like really serious with it because he started drinking and smoking. It was a lot of stuff that he was doing behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't know that was invoking the spirit to like come forth even more. So he dragged us all into this Airbnb. He had two separate Airbnbs. He have a cult, so he have women and men. He have about 7 women and like 6 men or something like that. If I'm wrong or whatever, it's like 6 women or 5 men or whatever the case. Needless to say, he put us in two separate Airbnbs, women in one and men in one. And in the women's one, he literally did anything he wanted sexually with us. He just did whatever he wanted. Kids there and all, pregnant women from for other men and everything. Like women were in relationships with other men in his camp and he was still having intercourse with them and like making us all try to be his wives. And so I was like, okay, that's mad weird. Like, I don't want to do this. So, he had another incident that happened in that time span where he told the world and even told us that the reason why he have all of the wives is because he wants to mate with them and impregnate them so that he can mate his children because he doesn't want his children to be in the society that we all coexist in. Like he wants to be separate from the world. He seriously in his mind believed that he's the Messiah, like the second coming of Christ, and everybody's gonna have to bow down to him and all of this stuff. So um that was the straw, like that was the last straw. He and then once I started doing like absolutely everything he wanted me to do, he started putting me on phone calls with women, random women, to have intercourse with them. He would get my pictures, like he would force me to take pictures, like nude pictures and like sexual videos and stuff, and he would send them to thousands of people without me knowing. And it wasn't until opened up his phone to see what he was doing, and it was videos and pictures of me. And I was like, oh wow. Like, so amongst some other things, but they're not coming to me clearly. But yeah, that's like that was the two main things that really like sealed the deal for me.
okay. And the abuse. When was the last time that he really physically abused you? That
Mm.
was very devastating.
Well, the I wouldn't say the last time, but but one time that was very devastating for me. He put me he took all of these people, it was about 15, almost 20 people. He made them make a circle around me. He made a woman grab my child. My child was 1 years old. He made a woman grab my child and hold her on the outside of this circle, and he beat me inside that circle for about an hour. And everybody was like, you need to submit to him and this and that. And I was like, he's trying to take my soul. I'm not submitting to him. Absolutely not. I'm a child of God. And so I let him beat me. Period. And I did not get up. I did not look him in the face. I did not none of that. I was so my head was hurting so bad that I couldn't even look at the light. Like the light could be on and my eyes could be closed and I could have my hand over my eyes and it still hurted, to the point where he was like, "Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" And I was like, I told him no, because people who go through DV, it don't register in that moment that they need to tell somebody that they need to go to the hospital. So I declined, and yeah, when I declined, I realized that he was manipulating me.
Wow. Wow. And so how did you finally um get all your paperwork and leave?
So, within the 3 month times, come on, Ellie, let's go use the potty. Let's go. Come on. The During the 3 month time span, I was able to, like, I would do little stuff like act like I'm really really friendly and I'm actually vibing with what's all going on. And I would go in the back room, like when he was in the living room, I would go in the back room and I would pack my clothes little by little. And the last night that I knew I had an opportunity, the night I knew the next morning I was gonna leave, that's when I actually took my passports from wherever they were and shoved them in my bag. And then when I woke up the next morning, everybody was like really asleep because he had drunk a whole bottle of Hennessy, which I made sure of. And I made sure the girls was drunk and high. And I just made sure everybody was toe up. And I made a nice pallet. Come on, come on. I made a nice pallet on the floor because he likes all of us to sleep together. So I made everybody feel comfortable, and then I picked my bags up and I put them outside, and I went back for my child, and I picked my bags up and I kept walking, and I never looked back.
Wow. And can you share with us your age?
I am currently 24. I met him when I was 19, and I moved with him when I was 20.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's a lot of strength. I mean, you endured a lot. And also because a lot of it also was on social media. So you,
And all of it was social media, my
yeah,
whole entire life
wow.
since that point.
Wow. And you have a beautiful daughter. And you all, did you all officially get married?
We did get married. We did. The way that we got married was by force. So during that 3 month time span when I was planning my escape, he knew that I wanted to leave, and he solidified the marriage because he wanted to stay tied to me. He believes that he owns me. Like I told you, he holds me to a very great value in his mind. So he targets me like no other. Like so when we actually got married, he always had been against it. He always had this philosophy that he doesn't want to be underneath the jurisdiction of the United States, and he doesn't need permission to get married from another man and all of this stuff. So when he told me about getting married, I tried to use his information on him. I was like, wait, what about the government? What about this? What about that? Like, no, like I don't want to get married. And so I guess he felt that, and he was like, what, you don't want to get married to me? And so then I had to like finesse that situation because I didn't want to get beat. Ellie, be still. Ellie, no, you are fine. Come on, if you're gonna wash your hands, I need you to get up here and wash your hands. Wash, wash.
And she's a mommy, and Ellie is a beautiful daughter that they have.
Yeah, so he in that time span, he he was like, no, we're getting married. He had to marry me so that he can feel like he trapped me. So he actually took me and I think it was three other women, and he actually married them to the three other men that was in the camp. So he had like this ceremony where like 4 or 5 couples was getting married at one time. But I personally feel like he only did that because he didn't want to move in the United States. He had been getting thrown out of Central America for the last 2 years. So when he
Wow.
came back to the United States, he had to use alibis so that if he ever got jammed up with the police, because everybody on social media reports him, he could say, no, she's married to him. She's married to him. She's married to me, to clean
Right.
up, you know? But those women are still married to those men, and they are all still in the camp and sleeping with the husband that I'm supposed to be married to. like
Wow.
literally. But yeah, that was
Wow.
something that I didn't want to happen, but I had to do it in order to get away. Like,
Right.
so now I'm in the process of I am in the process of getting a divorce, but that also takes time, especially from state to state.
Right. And now also you did your dad, and rest his soul, Pop Marquez. He was a wonderful man. He did fight for you. He never gave up.
No, he didn't. My dad was there when I absolutely needed him, and that I could never forget ever. It doesn't matter how cuz before that moment I was so bitter. Like
Hmm.
my family never heard from me, like that's how I felt. And when my dad showed up for me, I even now to this day, like I still can't get that out of my head. It doesn't matter if it was like I don't care what it was for. I don't care what his intent was. The only thing that's reigning truth to me is that he was there in the moments that I absolutely needed him. He was there. Period.
Definitely. Definitely. Now how do
Mhm.
you feel that all of this has affected Ellie, your daughter?
Sometimes I get disappointed in myself in a way for continuing to make the decision to keep her around that. I never am disappointed with the fact that I have her because I was in agreement to having a child at the time, you know. But my own disappointment came into like me continuing to like go back and forth. But I realized that the reason why I was doing that was because I wasn't realizing that he was an actual lunatic. Like that never registered to me for some reason. And so but now I feel absolutely amazing about my daughter and our relationship. Like he really tried to do a number between me and her. So I did have some issues in the first 2 years of her life. Like he wanted her to disrespect me. He didn't want her to have no type of regard for me. So he tried to make other women take care of her, and then that created an anxiety for her, like like stress and anxiety away from the mom. But
Right.
now that I'm in my own space and I've been having her consistently for a year now and some months, I our relationship has gotten way better, and I'm glad that she's younger because I can turn her a lot around. And
Right.
yeah, she's a bright individual. I
Yes.
teach her manners. I teach her how to be respectful and polite, and I just keep going, and I'm not stopping. And I pray a lot.
Yes, and she is adorable in her little voice, and she is so respectful. And I like, again, just seeing your life. This is just awesome. I'm just so proud
Yeah.
of you. And Mr. Brooks, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Velvet, I'm so proud of you. Your courage, your drive, and you really do. You have the experience to raise your daughter totally different based on your experience. And I encourage you to do that. To continue to be open with her and let her know what really happened, so she know what to expect when her time comes to meet a guy. So my hats off to you. Statistics say you shouldn't have made it, but you're still here, and we thank you for that.
Yes. Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yes. Now